this is Anna from LeximbueJournals. I hope everybody's well today. It's Easter Monday and lockdown frizz and lockdown everywhere, at least in this country. We're on the fourth week in this house on lockdown, and we're beginning to see it as our new reality, I guess. So it's a bit hard for everyone, but not as hard as it is for other people. So we're not going to do any complaining today. No complaining. So we're going to talk about Atlantis, and I thought a little bit of myth in this reality that we're in at the moment. A little bit of myth will help a little bit, take our minds away from things. So I'm going to go back to that story I had started some time ago, and the last two journals that I did that were related to that story were Luna and Wave. So today I've got a new journal, which is Atlantis, quite a big one. It's an A4, but not at all heavy. It's quite light. So let me just show you. I've got this symbol in the front. It's all gold with gold, and this is the spine and the back, and it's all very, very grungy, and it's been through a lot. So it's like a really old book, I thought. So that was the idea when I was making it. And Lionel, our main hero of the story, who's still looking for his missing queen, has moved on now into a different situation. He is a researcher. He's living through the 1600s, and he's communicating with alchemists. So he is an alchemist as well. He has learned a lot from his druid master. So at this stage he is thinking about, he's having also some memories, some flashbacks of things that have happened to him in the past, if that makes any sense. And we know that he's been living for many centuries, so he has been around for a while. He was woken up by the druid, and he's still not sure about where he came from, what his origins were. The next thing he thinks about, the next thing he will resort to researching, is the myth of Atlantis, because he has this feeling that he's somewhere that has been lost, and his memory has been wiped off, but he knows that he's beginning to see things, remembers things, and he knows that he was there at some stage. So I don't want to tire you out too much, but he is beginning to understand that he comes from somewhere that has been destroyed. He's looking into different possibilities, and Atlantis is one possibility, and that's because as he has investigated Avalon, and he's also thought a lot about the old epics, and it goes back to the destruction stories from the Bible. He's thinking that he is at this stage thinking that he is coming from a place that has been destroyed. So that's the main essence of this. So let's have a look inside this journal, and I will tell you a little bit more of the story of Atlantis while we're looking at the journal. So I just wanted to say that this is the one book that belongs to him, and there's also another book that he's at the same time using, and that other book is an alchemy book, and I will show you that book. But I will do the flip through sometime this week. So I'll give you enough time to look at the Atlantis one first, because I don't want to take too long with each video. But here it is. This is the book. This is his alchemy book in the back, and this is the closure. Sorry, the closure. I need to close. It wasn't closed. There's the closure of it, and I will show you this journal in our next video. And with our next video, when I'm showing you this journal, I will also talk about papers. Today we're going to be talking a little bit more about Atlantis, and I don't want to hold you for too long. We'll be chatting probably Wednesday or Thursday. I'll show you that journal, and we'll talk about papers, and let's have a look inside. Okay, so here is the journal, and although I believe I believe that this symbol here is a Celtic symbol. It's a disc. I used it as a symbol for Atlantis because I couldn't find anything that would come anywhere near this kind of concept. So just to say that the whole story, the whole myth of Atlantis started from Plato's dialogues, two Socratic dialogues, and one was with Timaeus and the other one was Chris. That was in the 360 BC, and he wrote them as a tribute, as an honor to the goddess Athena, for the Panathenaea, which was festival that was taking place in Athens for that year. And through the whole dialogue created this tale of Atlantis. It had a symbolic significance. It was a parable. It could have been the whole idea, the whole concept of the Atlantis destruction could have been related to the explosion of a volcano at Thera, ancient Thera, which is Santorini, what Santorini is now, during the time of the Minoan civilization. So there was some kind of a relation to the destruction of Atlantis and maybe something that happened in reality. All was about a spiritual society turning greedy. That was the whole idea. Now in our case, where Lionel is trying to understand what has happened to him, we're going to look at it from a more of a realistic point of view, where this could have actually happened, and Lionel is trying to understand why and how he ended up where he was. And he knew that he was looking for his queen, and he believes that the two of them were somehow saved after this disaster. Memory wiped out, and they were allowed to live in this world where they were at the moment. So I hope I'm explaining it all well. Anyway, so let's have a look at the journal. So you just said you got a bit of gold there, and let me take this out, and then there's the spine with a lot of gold on it. I'll bring it a bit closer. There it is. I thought you might like to have a look at the spine. And the back, very simple, with some staining on it. It's all very soft, so it's like an old book, and it's like a book that had been discovered or found somewhere, lying around for a long time. So, and this little, I've just tied it with a piece of fabric, is a very, very old manuscript about Atlantis. Okay, so so this is these end papers, beautiful Indian end papers, Nepalese end papers, and I thought that they would tie in really, really well with this journal. And they've got this bronzy shine. I don't know if you can see them shining. So there's some paper. It's like alchemical, but I thought it does go very well with this, because he's studying planets, he's studying under the sea, he's studying all the possibilities, he's relating to different scientists to understand how their point of view was about Atlantis, or about hidden continents, destroyed continents, and all that. So here's a pocket, and this is by Kircher, the under the earth. So it's Mundus Subterraneus, and there are lots of images that I've used from his images. This is really, really amazing with all the fires there, as you can see, and quite a lot of information underneath. I have attached one side to the page, the other one not, so people can write their notes there. Coffee dyeing has come out beautifully on these. It's like cloudy. There is a pocket, a very big side pocket here for notes. This is from a book about Atlantis, and here's Timaeus and Crisham, which I was telling you were the dialogues that were related to the Atlantis myth. And this is beautiful disc here. medieval disc, and I have covered it with this, and it's very thin paper, and there's also paper underneath and under that, so there's plenty of space really to use it up for different things one wants. And this opens up into Noah's Ark, construction of the Ark in 1493 by Michael Wohlgemuth, and it was in Nuremberg, and it's a really lovely picture. If I'm not mistaken, there are mermaids there as well, so it ties in the real and the mythical very well. And I have to say that the myth of Atlantis reminds me a lot of, because I always try and look at things from a very broad way, and especially anything that is related to mythology, we find that in all different cultures mythology is connected, and there are so many myths that are very similar to one another. So this is the idea in a way with Atlantis as well. And Atlantis is very, I believe, quite closely related to Avalon. Many other mythical locations, and they're very similar. Their characteristics, utopian, and where the spiritual comes over the materialistic, and all that. So here, this is an old map of Atlantis here. And this is what we made in our Friday craft session. So that has been added. I've adapted it a bit, so I've cut a little bit on the sides so that it would fit in. But it is used like as an assemblage, so one can have it separately as well. And there are lots of images here that remind of lost continents. And this is by Kircher, and he is there measuring. And I think, of course, I've mentioned it before, but I will repeat it. He's measuring just to prove that it is impossible that the Babel Tower could have reached the moon. So that's good. Very interesting thinking. Kircher was an amazing thinker. You know, I've told you before, he's one of my favorite thinkers, philosophers, and in all sorts of other things that he had. He was an amazing individual. There's a little bit more. This is by Galileo, and it is of the moon and of Jupiter. It was written in 1600s, and it is a study of Galileo of the celestial bodies revolving around the Earth. So there are quite a few drawings here of these celestial bodies, so that's quite interesting. And here is a very big washi map, and this is the other assemblage. And here I have a few. It's like utopian travel to different destinations, and it has the introspect, which is the definition of introspect here, and an old map. History and Adventures of the Unknown Don Quixote. That comes from the original book that I actually have it. So it's lovely to be able to add I scanned it and I added that page. There's another pocket, and this is the manuscript of Plato's here, Atlantis. So I thought this is great. This refers to Atlantis, the Atlantis Timaeus. So I thought you might like to have that. And this is a gorgeous mythical creature, dragon. Another thing that opens here. I've sort of created these little bits here that open up and close. And this is by Cole Thomas, 1836, and it is called Course of Empire Desolation. And I thought that's very relevant to the Atlantis, got ancient columns, and it just reflects the thought behind a situation where an empire is left to deteriorate, taken over by greed. This I really love this image here. And this is by Athanasius Kircher, and it was made in 1660. It was drawn in 1664, and it's Mundus Subterraneus, again the under earth world with the fires. And this is a manuscript of Plato's translation of Timaeus here. And this is another imaginary creature here. So I've left the back blank so I can write. Some more beautiful paper here. And a side pocket, and this is what we created at Crafting Fridays last Friday, so I've added that with crown, added that here, and some planetary drawings here. This is a map of Atlantis, 1803 by Bory de Saint Vincent is the person who has created this, again in a very, very thin transparent paper with some washi there. There's another very interesting concept of desolation and the end of an empire, whatever's ruined there, the ruins left there. There's a pocket here, a corner pocket. This is Mundi Sutterani, again by Kircher and his theory. And there's the island of Atlantis there. And there's a side pocket. And there's another one of Kircher printed on this paper. Some music paper here. Oh, this is a classic, beautiful painting. Just how I would imagine Atlantis to be. And some really interesting paper here. And this is a side pocket. And the end papers here. This is the journal, so I hope you enjoyed the flip through. And it will be up on Etsy this Friday at 8 p.m. UK time. And it will go up with the other journal that I will show you tomorrow, Wednesday. And that will they will go up together, sold separately. I like to do them as a pair because they are a pair in this case. So they've been, let's say, made for the same purpose, same time, and relating to the same story. This is the parts 3 of the search for the missing queen, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care of yourselves, and we will be talking soon. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.